All right, here we are, episode 6. I have to say, I do like this episode a lot. This is one of my favorites in season 1.
Same. It's so many levels. I can't wait to get into this discussion.
Yes.
All right, so we open on Frasier doing his radio show. Only problem, there's no callers. As Frasier starts to sing, the lines light up. He takes a call from Gary, who's had an argument with his wife over buying a sump pump or taking a vacation. Frasier's on team vacation and defends his reasoning by mentioning he recently bought a painting. Not just any painting, a Paxton. He argues that since he bought the painting, he's uplifted, which is more important than something practical. This is lost on Gary, who still thinks he should get the sump pump.
Well then, yes, Gary, you should get the sump pump. We'll be right back after this news break. Ross, just what is a sump pump?
If you need one, you'll know.
Yeah.
I had to look up what a sump pump was.
Well, I mean, if you need one, you'll know what it is pretty fast.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know if I'll need one.
Yeah. No,
We
this
don't
is... It's... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, we don't really have basements in Australia in our houses.
So you have limited use for that. And so does Frasier, and that's kind of where his frame of reference comes from. He lives on what floor is he on? I mean, like, he's
19?
He's nowhere,
19th
he's nowhere near the basement.
Yeah.
The sump pump is
means
not
nothing
going
to him.
Yeah, that's not affecting his life. So, of course, he's gonna prioritize his, luxury item.
But I'd be honest, I'd want to take a trip to Italy as well.
Oh, definitely.
Who wouldn't?
Definitely.
Gary, apparently.
Gary's very practical.
He actually would have benefited from advice from someone like Marty, because that's what, he's just practical, not frivolous.
I wonder sometimes about the people who call into Frasier's show. Like, they know who he is. He's not. It's not like he's new to the air, so it's like they know his priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who's calling in thinking that Frasier's going to be on Team Sump Pump?
Called it a Home Improvement instead.
I don't think they have a home improvement show on KACL. They got cooking, they got like a restaurant review show, they got sports, they've got
teens. Remember they had the teen episode?
They got the teens, they got a greengrocer, apparently. They got story time, but they don't have home improvement.
For that.
So I guess Frasier was the default.
Yeah.
This is definitely before the age of Ask Jeeves, Google, so I guess when in doubt, call just some guy on the radio, see what he has to say.
They wanted him to be the deciding voice between Italy and Sump Pump.
Freud has to say about that.
Frasier ends the call and enters Roz's booth. Roz asks Frasier if he really does own a Paxton, because she's got Martha Paxton on line 3. Frasier snatches the phone away and speaks to Martha, inviting her to a soiree at his place. She accepts and Frasier hangs up. Roz didn't know Frasier was having a party. Neither did Frasier.
Classic sitcom setup. Throw together a party with absolute last minute because of some guest who, you have to appease for some reason. So good.
Friday night, the cocktail party has started with Paxton standing prominently over the fireplace. Daphne is in the middle of explaining her theory of death to a small group of people while Niles watches, smiling fondly. Frasier interrupts and Daphne leaves to serve more hors d'oeuvres. Frasier's upset about the state of his party. Worst of all, Martha hasn't arrived yet. Doorbell rings, and it's Roz. Frasier compliments her appearance.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, it's funny that he's, nervous about this party because it came together so well, so last minute. He should be bragging.
Yes. And on another note, before we hop off of this topic, I just want to say we should bring back social cocktail parties. Because now, at least in the States, the only cocktail party is like networking. And it's, not fun. And, I want social cocktail hours.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes. At fancy people's houses. Other than mine. Not my house.
You sit on their chair or look at the needle. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be a wild experience. But yes, back in the 50s and 60s, that's kind of how people had their social groups. They had like civic engagement groups and social groups, and they would go down to their local spot. They don't really have that. You need a third place.
Yeah, it's not like that much anymore, is it?
No.
Bit of a shame.
We have a Cafe Nervosa. We just have Starbucks.
Right, and you can't even and it's so busy that you can't really sit and have like a Cafe Nervosa experience. This is why I love watching Frasier, because it's like a time capsule to this time where you had uninterrupted moments.
Yeah.
Purely uninterrupted moments.
Yeah, and Frasier's complaints are, they're not that important anyway. So no, the pianist is too intrusive. The no one's eating the Mussolini of duck except for Eddie.
I've never even heard of this before. I don't know if I would want to eat something called Mussolini of duck. Ugh, that's like chicken a la chicken, right? Isn't it like chicken a la mode or a la king a la chicken? Yeah, I couldn't. No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think I'd
like
eat
90s snob appetizers.
I don't know if I'd eat Mussolini of duck because it's got liver. It's got liver in it. It's fine. It's like ground chicken meat.
Oh, but liver
duck
is
meat.
what?
I mean,
duck meat.
Yeah, ground duck meat. Livers, egg whites, and yolk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
that
make
must
it
have been
into puree.
Frasier must have had insisted on that being on the menu.
Doc ever, becomes inexpensive enough, I'll make this and report back.
Please do. Yes.
And we're still waiting
right now. We're still waiting for your live coverage from that restaurant with ties.
Oh yeah. The real life Timbermill. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. I did read the Holotropic Mind. It was actually very compelling, by the way. So I'm living my best Frasier life at this moment.
Oh my gosh. All right. Stay tuned, listeners. We might have some offshoot deep dives on some of these topics.
So the doorbell rings and it's Roz. Frasier compliments her appearance, which Rose scoffs at. She readjusts her stockings behind the couch, much to Frasier's horror. Now, I've worn stockings and I've had to pull them up before because they slide down.
Mm-hmm.
She is every woman.
Yeah.
Yep. We've all been there.
The most annoying thing about wearing stockings. They like to slide.
Can we talk about her dress?
Yes, please. I've been waiting.
It's so good.
That dress. That is such a great silhouette on her. It just made her in her hair, her height. It was just I was in love with it. I was like, Roz, you gorgeous, gorgeous swan. You look so beautiful right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she deserves to be beautiful. She deserves to show off because she's, she works hard, and I love how she's like, I'm at this party too. And I'm sure she probably wasn't formally invited. Maybe Frasier invited her. Do you think he
I think Frasier invited her.
Yeah, okay.
Well, she knows about the party. He's literally said it in front of her he's having a party.
He's
so
probably
he
talked about it over and over and over and over and over. So she probably was like, yeah, let me just clear my schedule because I know I have to make an appearance. Yeah. She probably has a date after this though. That's what I would do.
She should.
I would have a date lined up after this.
Mm-hmm.
In that dress, yes.
Yes.
Stressing for a date more than a party.
Yeah, that's what I got the sense. I got the sense that this was Roz's first stop of the night.
What's wrong with that?
And there's not a damn thing wrong with that.
Well, it's like 7:00. It's still early.
Definitely.
As Frasier says, she's got a neck. With her hair up. So with her hair up. She does. She's got a really nice
Frasier thing to compliment.
Neck. Yeah.
And kudos to a man who notices a woman's neck. Mm-hmm. He could have said elevated. Yeah, it's very elevated. I like that. Good job, Frasier.
Meanwhile, Daphne is in the kitchen pulling out a tray from the oven when Niles enters. They make small talk, and Daphne offers Niles some herbs to sniff. Niles instead sniffs her hair. He gets caught and pleads innocence, claiming to be a happily married man.
Dr. Green, were you sniffing my hair?
Why would I do a thing like that? I'm a happily married man. I love my Maris. Where should I put this coat? Just throw it on the bed.
I love my Maris.
To move. He smells her hair.
I know. Maris is at a party. She's asleep under the guest coats. And I love how he's like, I'm a happily married man. I love my Maris. And then a man comes in and he's like, "Where do I put this coat? Just toss it on the bed."
Over there.
Good.
Oh.
I'm with Maris. Parties, being interesting is exhausting.
Yes.
I'd have to take a nap under the coats.
Yes.
We all have our different, like, how we would react at this party. I'd be, like, all up in that duck mousseline, and you'd be pulling a Maris.
I would be on the balcony if the weather was nice and there was a handsome chap around. I would be on the balcony.
All good things.
All good
I
things.
also noticed that Niles is very infatuated with Daphne this party. He's very much following her around like a lost puppy.
Yeah, like a puppy. Yes.
Yeah.
So cute.
Back in the living room, Roz asks Frasier which one is his dad. Frasier points him out, realizing that Martin's showing crime scene photos to someone. Frasier intervenes and admonishes Martin, who claims the woman brought up the topic of a hooker's homicide. Frasier is incredulous.
Did you notice that Marty didn't even bother to dress up? He just showed up to the party and everything.
You know, because living his life.
Yes, I think it's great.
He's just wandered from his bedroom, basically.
Literally.
But also, I love how he gets it so that she's the one that brought this up, obliquely.
And the physical comedy, he's literally like flapping them around and like Frasier's like frantic. So it was great. It was great chemistry there.
Mm-hmm. Frasier tasks Niles with watching Martin. Niles, wanting to continue following Daphne, passes the task on to Roz. Doorbell rings again, and Frasier opens the door to a bald woman in a poncho. This, at last, is Martha Paxton. He announces her arrival to the party and draws her eye to the Paxton in pride of place. Martha then reveals that the painting isn't a Paxton in front of the room.
I didn't paint it.
Of course you didn't. You created it. You gave birth to it.
I didn't do anything to it. I never saw this painting before in my whole life.
And you thought I was going to embarrass you.
Now, Martha Paxton is quite a character, and I think we looked it up, and the actress who plays Martha actually does look like she does.
Basically her true self. So yeah, this is my favorite part about this character cameo. So Rachel Rosenthal, who plays Martha Paxton, authentically looks and dresses like that, and she is an interdisciplinary artist. And the one part I'm not really clear on is her handshake protocols, but wouldn't be surprised. But basically, like, this is life imitating art, imitating life. Like this woman is just showing up as her true self, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I love when Frasier goes, "May I take your poncho?" Oh, it was like he was kind of running through the etiquette rules in his head. Like, what do I say? What do I call this?
It's like, I never take it off. So I don't have to shake hands. And then he's immediately like, "Oh, you must meet my brother." Immediately wants to embarrass Niles.
Absolutely. Just such a good setup. But also, this is such a good callback to a handshake is as good as a hug. I mean, like, it's basically suggesting that she's avoiding any kind of human intimacy there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get to the painting, Frasier doesn't let her speak at first. He's very much like, this painting, he's talking it up. Yeah. He's talking it up, not letting her get a word in edgewise.
It's the perfect build up for her to tear him down.
Yeah.
Yes. Much in the manner of Roz, the way Roz does it.
Yeah.
After the party, Frasier is leaning against a pillar, staring at the painting. Martin mentions he liked Roz. Frasier's not in the mood to talk after being humiliated by the painting being a fake. Daphne still likes the painting regardless, but this brings little comfort to Frasier. He decides to take the painting back to the gallery. The next day at the art gallery, the owner, Philip Hayson, introduces himself to Frasier. Frasier reveals that he has an issue with the painting he was sold. Philip sympathises, but deflects the accusation. Frasier recognises that he's being handled and decides he's not going to leave.
This is just so well done because Frasier is self-aware that he's being handled as this guy continues to handle him. Like, he has no shame.
Yes.
He's not dropping it. And Frasier's like, you're doing this to me, and he's just letting it happen. It's so good.
Yes.
Like, the writing, the acting, like, everything just really comes together so perfectly in this moment, because it's just like you have that shred of awareness, except nothing is being done about it.
You know, when you look at this scene, I was looking the scene over, and I thought about the size of that picture, and I think that the size was perfect, because if the picture was too small, he would have looked silly, and if it was too big, he would have looked silly. You know, holding it like he was. You know, so I like how they got a picture that was proportional, so that way it didn't make him look like a loony.
Yeah.
Even though he was being irrational and you know, a little extra.
I want to circle back to like a moment before he goes to the gallery where like Daphne's like, it's still good. I am in alignment with this. I actually think it's a beautiful painting. I know it's not a Paxton, and that's what's plaguing Frasier, but like, it's actually aesthetically very pleasing. So it's almost like, I get why he goes on this, you know, particular, you know, journey here, but it's also like, it looks good. And if he hadn't had the hubris to invite the artist to his cocktail party, he would never have known, and he would have loved it.
Do you think the art gallery knew when they sold the painting to Frasier that it was a forgery?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, this guy's a scammer for sure. Especially because like even the joke that we, you know, see a reference to later with the wine that he's offered from the Loire Valley and all of that, obviously swill. So it's just very he's a con artist of the highest degree in every level.
He's preying on people like Frasier who want the status
ego.
of owning it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So after Frasier leaves, he returns back home with the painting. His next course of action, call the police. Martin gives him the number and tells Frasier to ask for the Fine Arts Forgery Department.
So adorable.
I know. Frasier does so and is laughed at. Martin tells him that the police have better things to worry about than art forgery. I think the police would care about art forgery.
The police wouldn't, not like a city police like Seattle, but the FBI would care.
Yes.
So that's actually where
would.
Yeah, the FBI would care, because typically forgeries of that nature, like, it's part of a broader scheme that involves a lot of money and a lot of other kinds of things. But Seattle PD is not going to care in the slightest.
No. Niles and Daphne enter from the back hallway, both straightening their clothes. Frasier is suspicious, and Niles explains that Maris had lost her earring and Daphne was helping him look for it.
What were you two doing back there?
Maris lost her earring at the party last night. Daphne was good enough to crawl under the bed to look for it while I...
Yes?
searched the credenza.
Daphne leaves to check the hallway, and Niles notices that Frasier didn't manage to return the painting. Frasier asks Niles for a lawyer, and Martin points out that the litigation would cost more than the painting. Frasier then considers using his radio show to expose the gallery, but Niles points out that it's slander.
Yeah.
It's interesting because they are actually wrong on this point. It's not slander because the gallery owner is aware that it is a forgery. So, you know, I get that this is just sort of a way to move the episode along, but he's wrong.
Niles brings Frasier a sherry as Frasier stews in impotent rage. Daphne returns and Niles gives her the other earring as Daphne.
Rage.
Yeah.
That is correct. Oh God. I'm gonna start using that to anybody that is just like displaying such behavior. Impotent
Yeah, when
rage.
you can't do anything. Like, it's... you can't do anything with it.
Yes, carry on.
Daphne returns and Niles gives her the other earring and Daphne has a psychic premonition. They leave, chasing Eddie as Frasier grabs his keys and leaves through the front door. Outside the gallery, Frasier is readying a brick when an old couple walk by. He hides the brick behind his back until they leave. He then readies the brick again when Niles pulls up to stop him. Frasier refuses to get in the car, so Niles gets out. Niles asks for the brick, but Frasier refuses. Niles tells a story of how he was the recipient of a cruel prank that left him humiliated. He was going to retaliate, but Frasier stopped him. Frasier's still furious, not wanting to let the gallery get away with it. But if Niles could do it after the nicknames, he could do it too. Nicknames? Niles hadn't known.
Now, I personally had a similar kind of conversation with my mother. I love her very much. And she actually had to talk me out of a bad idea because I was like, I kind of had that kind of rage where I was just like going to throw, not a real brick, but like figuratively, right? A figurative brick at somebody. And then my mother was just like, yeah, don't do this. You're not, it's not going to solve anything, and I was just like, so I really liked it. Watching this episode and kind of reminiscing on that conversation I just recently had. We all need somebody to talk sense in us sometimes because we're just so blinded by rage.
The prank that Niles was victim of was pretty cruel. They took all his
Very
clothes.
bad.
I agree. And like Niles, I wonder how he had to process that in order to move forward with his life because that was pretty tragic.
Above average hazing, like
yeah, exactly, definitely.
But then it's interesting too that is our point of comparison to Frasier getting scammed with a fake art piece, right? Like,
yeah.
This is something that probably traumatized Niles in his formative years versus like adult Frasier getting ripped off.
Basically pissed away a couple $1,000. So
yeah, but like, is it that big of a deal to him?
Successfully talked down, Frasier hands the brick to Niles and goes to leave. Niles takes the brick and hurls it through the glass window.
Niles, what have you done? I struck a blow for justice. Nobody calls me Peach Fuzz. Now let's get the hell out of here.
Love this moment.
I know. He hurriedly throws the money down and takes off to the car and they speed away. I love it. He's like, no one calls me Peach Fuzz.
So funny. It's like the latent rage. Yeah, the money thing is really so Niles.
Maybe barbarians, but we pay for our pillaging.
Yes.
That line is impeccable, but it is also really funny because like that window was like 20 feet high, so there's no way that a couple $100 is gonna cover.
No.
And I love how Sir David Hyde Pierce, his physical reaction to when he throws it and like his body kind of goes like, yes, like he just feels exhilarated in that moment, and you're happy for him. Like he had been holding this up for a really long time in his body. So he got a good release from that.
Completely.
I think are there places in Asia where they have like rage rooms where you can like go and be destructive intentionally?
They have them all over.
Yeah. There was we gifted my brother-in-law a voucher to go to one of those rage rooms once for
I wonder
Christmas.
if there's one in my town. I need one, y'all.
I've been to one. They had like a bunch of old like broken down cars, and they gave us like baseball bats, and we could just wreck them.
Oh my! I just found one in my city.
See,
I need to go.
They exist. Like it's a healthy outlet.
I really was like feeling so angry about something, and like I can completely empathize with Frasier when you're just so angry and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, well, no, go to one of those spots. It's way better than destroying property at a gallery.
I might report back on that one. So
yeah,
I will definitely take pictures. Oh wow, I'm excited.
But yeah, it's very cathartic.
Okay, so the end credits has Frasier contemplating his painting in its new home, the powder room.
Until he knew it was a forgery, like he genuinely liked where it was placed. So it's hilarious that he has to like demote it because it's not a real Paxton. Like, and the question that remains for me is he going to replace it with an authentic Paxton?
If he can get one, I guess.
Right? Well, now he knows her, but he's also had like a weird interaction with her, so I don't know if she's just gonna like hand one off.
And Kelsey Grammer was looking really cute in this episode with the little tie when his tie was undone. I found that very charming. So it's like, we can see, we all know I'm pro Frasier. So I was liking how his kind of debonairness was coming through.
All right. This is a good episode. I really like this one.
Very enjoyable. Very you get a lot out of it because you have all these different subtle moments, right? Like Martin and Roz hadn't met before. Roz, showed her party / date night look. Niles got a little bit of his childhood trauma resolved. Like there's just so many little things that all just kind of work really well in a otherwise like just excellent episode where you get Frasier being ego driven.
Yes, I loved it. I loved everything was so stylish. I liked how the characters looked, the clothing, it just was very elegant and funny at the same time. So it was classy and funny, and I really liked it. I think like this kind of gave you the template of like what a Frasier experience is. It's a little funny, it's a little witty, it's a little kooky and classy.
Yep. Failed dinner party yet again. I mean, this is his first failed dinner party.
The first of many.
Everyone stampeded to the doors after it was revealed it was a fake Paxton.
So funny.
Sign for things to come. All right. I think that's it.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Fun episode.
It is. Very good one.
See you next week.
Catch us next time.
Catch you next time. Bye.
But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again. Good night, Seattle. We love you.